What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down Joe Burrow's throwing mechanics. I think he is the best quarterback in college football, and today we're going to break down what makes him such a great passer, how he throws with such great touch, and his overall mechanics when he throws this football. Let's get started. And guys, if you're a quarterback and you want to improve your reading coverage ability, you want to improve your football IQ, please check out that link in the description, guys, for a new opportunity on my website where we break down 16 NFL defenses a month, NFL and college defenses a month. I hope I get you guys started soon. So, in the pocket, the main thing I want to talk about is how relaxed Joe Burrow is, okay? Everything this guy seems to do is calm, cool, and collected. He's under control, and that's how he moves in this pocket. So he's dropping back, right? He's getting some pressure, and now he's going to drift out of this pocket. But the main thing I want you to see is his feet are moving at the exact same time, okay? So, and this is what's going to set up his throwing mechanics, okay? It's all about your lower body and your upper body. Obviously, the lower body ties into the upper body. So you see he's under control, both feet at the same time. Now, a big portion of Burrow's throwing mechanics is how fast he's able to get that left foot down. And the faster you get this left foot down, the faster the ball is going to come out. So, as you can see, when he drives off this back leg, he's pushing off this inside portion of the throw. So all of the energy from his back leg is going to come straight into this receiver, come straight at the receiver, right? So he drives up that back leg. Now, when he gets this front leg in the ground, that's what shoots your back hip through, okay? And when you shoot your back hip through and you keep your front arm nice and tight to your body, that's when you have torque, okay? It's not going to be open everything up. You're not going to lift the ball right to 90. You see how he drops this ball in almost this opposite L. We're going to get a better angle later. He gets that front foot in the ground, and his back hip is what gets him to that 90-degree angle with his arm. Everything's shooting through. The hip is coming through before the ball. We call that chasing the hip. That's how you have torque, and you can see when he strikes this ground, he's in a powerful position with his front leg. He kind of extends at the end right here, which is something I don't necessarily like too much, but he's got so much rotational force, so much torque from that back hip that he's able to throw an absolute dime over the middle here. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So he's dropping back, under control, moving both feet at the same time, and just a dot over the middle. Okay, so now he's going to be in the pocket. The main thing, again, I want to talk about is his front leg. How fast is he able to get this down? The next clip after this one, we're going to get a much closer look, but I wanted to see this end zone angle just because you really get the sense of how much pop he's got coming off of this ball and how consistent he is with the throw. So he's got a pretty clean pocket back here. The main thing I want you to see is how his base is wide. When your base is wide, that's how you get that front foot in the ground fast, okay? A lot of people have this real narrow base. They're not sitting their butt down. As you can see here, that's where your power comes from, guys. Your power comes from your back hip, and it comes from your butt and your legs, right? And he's sitting his butt down. He's sinking those hips, right? That's how you get into a powerful position with your lower half, right? And driving through that back hip, keeping that front arm tight, that's how you create torque, okay? It's not rocket science. It's actually pretty simple, but there's a lot of small details that go into playing the quarterback position, right? So again, he's driving. Look how fast this back leg gets in the ground, or this front leg. Pushing off the inside portion of his foot, gets that front leg in the ground. As you can see, when his front leg gets in the ground, that's when he starts his stroke and gets to this opposite L. When quarterbacks can get to this opposite L position, or maybe a little bit higher than that opposite L, not so much a 45-degree angle, but just a little bit higher than that. But when that front foot hits the ground, they're going to have a lot of torque because the arm just supports the hip. When you can drive that back hip like Burrow does, as you can see, he's almost pivoting off that back foot right here. The arm supports it, and that's how the arm gets into the 90-degree angle. What a lot of quarterbacks do is they just take it straight back to this 90-degree. That's not what we want, because if we take it to this 90-degree and then our foot's getting in the ground, then my hip's going to come through, and I'm going to have a coil in my motion, and I'm going to have this real long thing where I slingshot it forward, and I'm going to miss high, right? Burrow does a great job of getting this front foot in the ground, and another thing Burrow does is he steps just to the inside of his target, okay? You see guys like Tom Brady do that a lot. The reason being is because that's how you get so much hip drive. When you step way outside of your frame, like let's say he's stepping way over here with his toes out, and I see a lot of quarterbacks do that, you lose that torque that you can produce with your hips. If it's nice, and I don't want to say tight because you never want your hips to be tight, but if you could keep it in close range, you're going to get a lot more torque from that back hip if you keep that front arm tight. And as you can see, he keeps the left arm inside of his frame. Now, what happens here is he kind of dips his shoulders a little bit, right? You kind of noticed that in the last one. He's not exactly straight level across, and that's okay. The reason why he's doing this so much is because he's working on getting that elbow up, and he's got a not very high, but he's got a higher release point, which is good because his elbow will never dip. That's why he throws such a pretty spiral. That's why he's very consistent with his throw, because he keeps that elbow up. So again, getting that front foot in the ground fast, stepping just to the inside of the target, giving him a lot of velocity on this throw. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. You can see the ball's coming here, Ball's throwing here, he's stepping just to the inside of it, right? That's what tells you your accuracy comes from your follow-through and your rotation with that back shoulder. It's not necessarily that front leg. That front leg's part of it. Like, obviously, you can't be stepping way the hell to the sideline and try to throw this thing over the middle, and you can't be stepping way here and try to throw this thing over the middle. You got to be in the range just to the inside of it, and that's how you're going to get a little bit more torque. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So dropping back, front foot in the ground. That's how fast you need to get your front foot in the ground, because that's what activates your hips. Okay, so now he's going to be throwing with a little bit of touch here. Now, the main thing I want you to talk, again, I want you to look at that front leg. That's the theme of the day. How fast does he get his front leg in the ground? So he's throwing this thing with touch, right? See how fast his front leg gets in the ground. He's got a nice strong base. His feet are just outside of his shoulders. That's where we want to be. That's a good base, right? He's in a glute dominant position. His knees aren't way the hell over his toes, right? They're about just behind his toes, I would say. He could sit down just a little bit more with touch pass. It's kind of hard, but you want to be in a glute dominant position, okay? What that means is you want to sit your butt down. You never want to be from your knees up vertical. Never want to have that happen, because we're not going to have any ground force. It's all about ground force and torque. So his ground force starts, as you can see, pushing off the inside portion of his foot. You could tell by his shin angle, he's not straight up and down with his shin. If his shin was straight up and down, he'd be pushing up and he'd lose all of his power. You still want to push out, even when you're throwing with touch. The only thing that changes is your shoulders, your follow through, and your hip drive. That's the only thing that changes when you throw with some touch. So again, look how fast his front foot gets down. His front foot gets down right when he takes this ball back to this opposite L. That's why he has such a smooth release, because he's able to drive this hip and the arm just supports it, right? So again, now he's coming through, throwing a little bit of touch. His back hip is coming up, right? You see his back hip coming through first, it's coming up. That's what gets arc on this ball. And you see how his shoulders are at almost this 45-degree angle. That's how you get better air on the ball, guys. We're not going to get good air on this ball if our shoulders are flat and my hip drive comes around and I try to push this ball up. That's how this ball gets a tail on it. Your wrist ends up breaking and you're not throwing the best spiral, right? So he's driving up and over this throw. As you can see, this hip drive gets him to that 90-degree angle. As you can see, shoulders are coming up, hips driving up through the ball. Left hand is staying somewhere in front of his face. That's why I think you look at all the elite passers in the NFL. This left hand, not the average passers, okay? I'm not talking about average passers in the NFL. An average for the NFL is great for most of us. I'm not trying to knock anybody. But you look at the Breezes, the Bradys, the Rodgers, that left hand stays consistently in front of their face. That's one of the things that they all have in common. And look where Burrow's left hand is. It's consistently in front of his face like he's eating a sandwich, because that's what gives him torque. Rotating up and over the throw, following all the way through with his right shoulder all the way on the target. Joe Burrow is a very mechanically sound quarterback that I think is going to have a long career in the NFL, and I think will win the Heisman Trophy this year. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So again, front foot down on the ground fast, hip drive coming up and over the throw. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. Please leave in the comments who you would like to see me break down next. Any questions you guys have, I will make sure to personally respond to you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.